Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing you a classic fairy tale, Puss in Boots, a story full of magic, clever tricks, and adventure. You'll meet a witty cat who helps his poor master find fortune and love, all while outsmarting ogres and royalty. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this timeless tale together. Once upon a time, 3 millers' sons inherited after their father's death a mill, a donkey, and a cat. The mill was given to the eldest son, the donkey to the middle one, and the cat to the youngest. "What use is a cat?" thought the youngest, feeling despair. "My brothers will easily make a living, but I will starve." "Don't be sad, master," said the cat one day in a human voice. "Just get me a pair of boots so I can walk more easily through the forests and fields. I promise you won't regret it." Not long after, the cat found out that the king was out for a ride with his daughter in a carriage. So the cat ran ahead of the carriage and shouted to the peasants who were gathering hay. "If the king asks whose fertile fields these are, tell him they belong to the Marquis of Carabas. Otherwise, the noose awaits you. Do you understand?" Hearing these words, the peasants were terribly frightened. So when the king's carriage approached, they did exactly as the cat instructed. "Whose fields are these?" the king asked. "They belong to the Marquis of Carabas," the peasants answered in chorus. "This Marquis must be a very good farmer," the king said to his daughter. Then the cat ordered the youngest son to bathe in the river when the king and princess passed by. So the miller's son obeyed. When the king's carriage came near, he undressed and went into the water. The cat quickly hid his clothes and immediately began shouting at the top of his lungs. "Help! The Marquis of Carabas has been robbed. Thieves have stolen his clothes." Hearing such a terrible thing, the king immediately ordered his servants to help the Marquis. The young man was pulled from the water and given the finest royal clothes. In those splendid clothes, the young man looked even more handsome than before. So the princess instantly fell in love with him, and the king invited him to take a ride in his carriage. Meanwhile, the clever cat went to pay a visit to a rich ogre, who was the rightful owner of the fertile fields near where they had just passed. The ogre lived in a grand but very dark castle, nestled at the foot of some hills. As soon as he entered the castle, the cat made a bow and said to the ogre, "I couldn't pass by such a beautiful castle without making a visit to your majesty, especially since I've heard that you can transform into any animal." "Is that true?" the cat pretended not to know. "It is true," the ogre boomed. "Just name the animal and I will immediately take its form." "I would like you to turn into a fierce lion if possible," the cat asked. The ogre laughed terribly and then transformed into a mighty lion. The cat was scared when the lion roared but tried not to show it. When the ogre returned to his usual form, the cat said, "I bow humbly before your majesty. Such a skill I've never seen before." "Ha ha!" the ogre laughed even more frighteningly. "But you haven't seen anything yet. I wonder though, can you transform into a small and harmless animal? For example, a mouse," the cat said sweetly. "But maybe that is too difficult for you." "Me," the ogre screamed. "I can transform into anything. Just watch and learn." And as soon as the ogre turned into a mouse, the cat didn't hesitate for a moment. He jumped on him and swallowed him in one gulp. When the king's carriage reached the castle gate, the cat went out to greet them. "Welcome, your majesty, to the castle of the Marquis of Carabas." Then, to everyone's surprise, especially the miller's son, the cat invited them inside, where a lavish table was set, arranged to perfection. The king was so impressed by the wealth and impeccable taste of the Marquis of Carabas that he said, "Dear Marquis, wouldn't you like to marry my daughter? I'm sure she would have no objections." Looking at the princess, who smiled at him warmly, the Marquis of Carabas immediately agreed, hardly believing his good fortune. And so it happened that the miller's son became the king's son-in-law and a great advisor to his majesty.